Before kings, presidents, or parliaments, humanity looked up, not to governments, but to gods, searching the heavens for the ultimate model of authority. Because long before we debated democracy, we worshipped order itself. And that search for balance, justice, and power is where curiosity meets truth. Even in ancient Greece, people wrestled with the same dilemma we face today. What truly holds a society together when power is always at risk of breaking? In the pantheon of ancient Greece, that question found answer in one name: Zeus, the king of the gods. From his cloud-covered throne on Mount Olympus, he ruled not just with thunder, but with strategy. His image still evokes awe, the crack of lightning, the rolling storm. Yet Zeus was far more than a cosmic bully with good aim. He was the keeper of order, standing firm against the ever-present pull of chaos. His rule extended over two realms: the quarrelsome, immortal family of gods on Olympus, and the unpredictable world of mortals below. To govern both required a sophisticated toolkit of diplomacy, judgment, overwhelming force, and at times, cunning manipulation. Because in Olympus, as on Earth, leadership wasn't about domination. It was about preserving balance in an unstable universe. When gods act like humans, and humans start behaving like gods, order teeters on the edge. Zeus's struggle wasn't just mythic. It's a timeless warning about how fragile authority really is. If you're drawn to these deep dives, hit subscribe at Chasing Sunsets 49, like and share. This episode is part of my October series on ancient Greece. And next, we'll see how Zeus turned diplomacy into divine art. Zeus's toughest task wasn't ruling humans. It was managing the gods themselves. Olympus was less a paradise and more a divine parliament. Jealousy, rivalry, and politics with lightning. Zeus's most crucial role was of the supreme judge and mediator, the final arbiter in conflicts tearing the divine household apart. He presided over the Olympian Council, listening to arguments from all sides, weighing competing claims, and rendering judgments to restore balance. A classic example, the prelude to the Trojan War, the Judgment of Paris. Eris, goddess of discord, tossed a golden apple, inscribed for the fairest, igniting rivalry between Hera, Athena, Aphrodite. Zeus refused the choice himself, delegating it to a mortal, Paris, deflecting the losing goddess's wrath from his throne. Not cowardice, it was a political calculation. He knew order sometimes needed clever maneuvers, managing egos and distributing responsibility to stay neutral. Zeus knew order demanded subtlety. Sometimes peace meant balancing egos, not enforcing justice. He used persuasion when he could, and the thunderbolt when he must. That lightning wasn't just a weapon, it was a signature of authority, a visceral reminder that his word was law. But even Zeus had limits. He shared the cosmos with Hades below and Poseidon across the seas. His power rested on alliances, mutual respect, and restraint. True leadership, he shows us, isn't about crushing dissent. It's about containing chaos long enough for balance to survive. That's why power endures, and why it breaks. Beyond the celestial politics of Olympus, Zeus's authority extended deeply into the world of mortals, where he was seen as the ultimate guarantor of justice and social order. Among his many epithets, one of the most significant was Zeus Xenios, the protector of guests, the sacred bond of hospitality, Xenia. In an ancient world without international law or police forces, the custom of welcoming and protecting travelers was a cornerstone of civilization. It was a sacred trust that allowed for trade, communication, and safe passage between cities. Zeus was believed to personally oversee this custom, and myths abound with tales of his wrath against those who violated it, who harmed a guest, or turned away a stranger in need. This divine enforcement of hospitality was a powerful moral lesson. One of the most famous examples is the story of Baucis and Philemon. They were an elderly and impoverished couple who unknowingly welcomed Zeus and Hermes, who were disguised as weary travelers, into their humble home. After being turned away by all their wealthy neighbors, the gods are treated with kindness and generosity by these elderly couple. As a reward, Zeus saves them from a great flood that he sends to punish their inhospitable neighbors, transforming their cottage into a magnificent temple. Conversely, Zeus was merciless in punishing mortals who displayed hubris. The figures like King Salmoneus, who arrogantly tried to imitate Zeus by driving his chariot and hurling torches to simulate thunder and lightning, were struck down without hesitation. These tales reinforced a natural moral order. Violating it led to ruin. Despite his immense power and his position as the king of the gods, the myths are clear that Zeus's control was far from absolute. His reign was perpetually challenged, and his authority was often shown to be surprisingly fragile. These narratives reveal a profound truth about the nature of power, that no matter how concentrated, it is never total. Chaos constantly pushes back. Even the mightiest ruler must contend with its unpredictable currents. Even Zeus had limits. The Moirai, the three fates, controlled destiny itself. Clotho spun the thread of life, Lachesis measured it, and Atropos cut it, gods and mortals included. While Zeus was the enforcer of destiny, he was not its author. In the Iliad, he laments his mortal son Sarpedon's fated death. Hera warns that saving him would unravel order. Reluctantly, Zeus allows fate to run its course, weeping tears of blood. Zeus was deceived from within. Hera seduces him to lull him to sleep, giving others a chance to defy his command. Cunning can outmaneuver force. Zeus's greatest enemy was Typhon, born of primordial chaos. Their battle nearly ended Olympus. Typhon even tore out Zeus's sinews before Hermes restored him. Zeus won, but the fight revealed how fragile order really is. Civilization always one storm away from collapse. The ancient myths of Zeus are far more than relics. They are enduring allegories for the dynamics of power that continue to shape our world. When we examine modern authority like the national governments, international bodies, we see the challenges of Zeus's reign reflected in our institutions. The fundamental struggle to impose order, balance competing interests, maintain legitimacy plays out daily. Zeus's methods and limits offer a framework for the strengths and vulnerabilities of leadership across history. First, Zeus the judge finds a parallel in our judicial systems. Supreme courts and tribunals interpret laws and mediate disputes as final arbiters. Like Zeus, they must project impartiality and authority. Their power rests not only on enforcement, but on perceived legitimacy. If seen as biased, much like Zeus's perceived favoritism, order erodes and faith in the system decays. Second, Zeus' Xenios resonates in human rights. Protect refugees, grant asylum, ensure humane treatment. These norms form a secular moral code for global order. When nations violate them, they face sanctions, condemnation, isolation, becoming pariahs in a system built on shared rules. To bring it into focus, consider a government facing widespread civil unrest driven by hardship and disenfranchisement. Much like a challenged Zeus, the state can deploy its thunderbolt, riot police, mass arrests, strict curfews, to restore order through intimidation. In the short term, streets clear and control is claimed. This is the power of Zeus at its most basic, and often a Pyrrhic victory. Relying solely on coercion breaks the sacred bond of trust, the modern Xenia. Brutal responses damage legitimacy. Suppressed anger goes underground, then returns as organized movements, strikes, and coordinated opposition. Having spent its moral capital, the government leans on ever greater force as stability erodes. Peace by thunderbolt is temporary. Lasting order needs justice, consent, and engagement with real grievances. Power without wisdom is a path to deeper chaos. In the end, Zeus reflects our own hopes and fears about power. Myth doesn't give us a manual, it gives us a mirror. Zeus isn't a tyrant or a saint, but a ruler walking the razor's edge between chaos and control. Any system, ancient or modern, survives only through trust and fairness. Too much force breeds fragility. Too much hesitation invites anarchy. Wisdom is knowing when to mediate, when to delegate, and when to make an unshakable stand. Even Zeus needed balance between thunder and restraint. Power must be accountable. Our checks and balances are the modern heirs of Hera, Poseidon, and the Fates. Guardrails against tyranny, ensuring that no throne, divine or human, stands above justice. So we're left with one timeless question. How do we wield power, not merely to control, but to create a just and lasting order? If this episode sparked something in you, subscribe at Chasing Sunsets 49 for more journeys where curiosity meets truth. I post one long video and 2 shorts every week. exploring how ancient ideas still shape our modern world. Like, comment, and share to keep the discussion and the wisdom alive. Take care and bye.